Domain expansion stands as the zenith of Jujutsu sorcery, a testament to a sorcerer's mastery over their cursed technique and cursed energy. To truly grasp its significance, it's essential to first understand the core concept of a domain. A domain is, in essence, the mental landscape inherent to a sorcerer. It's the foundation upon which their cursed technique is built, a reflection of their inner world. When a sorcerer executes a domain expansion, they are employing their cursed energy to project this mental landscape beyond the confines of their own mind. This projection takes the form of a barrier, creating a closed-off space that is entirely governed by their cursed technique. The activation of a domain expansion is not a universal process. It's a highly individualized act. Each sorcerer must perform specific hand signs, a sequence of gestures that acts as the key to unlocking this immense power. These hand signs are often intricate and deeply personal, reflecting the sorcerer's unique style and approach to jujutsu. The diversity of domain expansions is a testament to the individuality of jujutsu sorcerers. Even if two sorcerers happen to share the same cursed technique, their respective domains can differ significantly. This variation arises from the sorcerer's mentality, their personality, and their unique interpretation and application of their abilities. It's a manifestation of their very being, shaped by their experiences and worldview. When two sorcerers simultaneously unleash their domain expansions, it triggers a clash of domains, a battle of wills, and raw cursed energy. In this clash, the domain that demonstrates the highest level of refinement, the one that is most meticulously crafted and controlled, will ultimately overpower and dominate the other. This highlights the importance of precision, control, and mastery in the execution of a domain expansion. The immense power of a domain expansion comes at a cost. After its utilization, the sorcerer experiences a period of vulnerability during which they are temporarily unable to employ their cursed technique. This state, known as domain burnout, is a significant drawback that forces sorcerers to carefully consider the timing and necessity of their domain's activation. However, even during this phase of cursed technique inhibition, sorcerers are not entirely defenseless. They can still draw upon their cursed energy reserves for other purposes, such as utilizing reverse curse technique to heal themselves, or employing anti-domain techniques like simple domain or falling blossom emotion to mitigate the effects of an opponent's domain. Domain expansions can be broadly categorized into two primary types: lethal domains and non-lethal domains. Each type serves a distinct purpose and reflects a different approach to jujutsu sorcery. Lethal domains are likely what comes to mind when you envision a domain expansion. These domains are designed to dramatically enhance the user's combat prowess. They amplify the potency of their cursed technique and, most importantly, guarantee that any cursed technique used within the domain will strike the target. This is the infamous sure hit or can't miss effect, a defining characteristic of lethal domains. Non-lethal domains, on the other hand, often prioritize utility and control over raw destructive power. By making a domain non-lethal, the sorcerer can construct it with greater ease, allowing them to embed a set of rules within the domain's environment. Everyone within the domain's boundaries is then compelled to adhere to these rules, creating a unique and often advantageous situation for the user. Beyond these two primary categories, there exists a third, less common type: barrier-less domains. These domains defy the conventional structure of a domain expansion, lacking the outer barrier that typically defines them. The two prominent examples of this type are Gojo Satoru's Infinite Void and Sukuna's Malevolent Shrine. Both of these domains are lethal and retain the sure hit effect, despite the absence of an outer wall. This unique characteristic is generally believed to make them even more formidable than domains with a barrier, so be ready. We will going to talk about the all 12 domain expansion of Jujutsu Kaisen we know so far, so let's start. Jogo's domain, Coffin of the Iron Mountain. The first domain encountered, Coffin of the Iron Mountain, is a lethal domain that dramatically transforms the environment into a volcanic landscape. It traps opponents within a fiery inferno, complete with molten magma. Jogo manipulates the magma within this domain for his sure hit attacks, making it an incredibly dangerous and destructive technique. The domain's name is inspired by the legend of Mount Sumeru. Gojo's domain, Infinite Void. Infinite Void, belonging to Gojo Satoru, is a unique and exceptionally powerful domain. Unlike domains that focus on physical destruction, Infinite Void attacks the target's mind. It overwhelms them with an infinite amount of information, effectively paralyzing them. Touching Gojo negates this effect. Gojo displays incredible mastery over his domain, capable of casting it for brief periods and altering its size and conditions. During domain burnout, using reverse curse technique to restore cursed cursed technique carries the risk of permanent brain damage. Mahito's domain, self-embodiment of perfection. Self-embodiment of perfection, wielded by Mahito, primarily enhances the effectiveness of his cursed technique, idol transfiguration. It is a lethal domain that grants Mahito near absolute control over the souls of those trapped within, making it incredibly dangerous. This domain requires 2 pairs of hands to activate, a unique characteristic that might explain Mahito's ability to use it with relatively little experience. Megumi's domain, Chimera Shadow Garden. Chimera Shadow Garden, Megumi Fushiguro's domain, is an incomplete domain. It floods the area with shadows generated by the 10 Shadows technique. Megumi can summon Shikigami and create shadow clones within this domain. In the manga, it is shown that this domain can also poke holes in other domains. Megumi bears the weight of anything he stores in the shadows, which are like an endless abyss. Smallpox Deity's domain. The Smallpox Deity's domain traps the victim inside a coffin and buries them underground. It then unleashes its cursed technique. If the victim fails to escape in time, they will succumb to smallpox and die. Dagon's domain, Horizon of the Captivating Skanda. Horizon of the Captivating Skanda. Dagon's domain appears serene but is lethal. Its sure hit effect, Death Swarm, launches invisible Shikigami that devour the target's flesh. The sure hit effect requires the domain's barrier to be maintained. This domain served as a meeting place for the disaster curses. Sukuna's domain, Malevolent Shrine. Malevolent Shrine belonging to Sukuna is the first barrier-less domain. It can cover a large area, which Sukuna can shrink to concentrate its power. Its sure hit uses Cleave and Dismantle to slash everything in range. Cleave targets things with cursed energy, while Dismantle targets things without it. The barrier-less quality can be countered by a larger barrier domain. Sukuna can change the conditions of his domain with a binding vow. Higuruma's domain, Deadly Sentencing. Deadly Sentencing. Higuruma's domain is a complex, non-lethal domain. It manifests as a courtroom setting, where Higuruma assumes the role of the prosecutor and the opponent becomes the defendant. The domain centers around Judgment, a Shikigami who acts as the judge. Judgment possesses complete knowledge of all relevant information but doesn't share it with the sorcerers. The domain follows a legal-based structure. Judgment announces the charges, the defendant defends themselves, silence, confession, or denial, and Higuruma presents a rebuttal. Judgment then delivers a verdict. Punishments can include confiscation of cursed technique or cursed energy, or confiscation plus the death penalty, enforced by the executioner's sword. Defendants can request a retrial if found guilty without confession. Hikari's domain, Idle Death Gambit. Idle Death Gambit. Hikari's domain is a wild, non-lethal domain inspired by a pachinko machine and its theme song. The domain's goal is to achieve a jackpot by aligning symbols. The rules of the game are transferred to the opponent's brain. Hikari uses visual effects like shutter doors, reserve balls, and consecutive events to attempt a 3 Richi scenario for a jackpot roll. Different Richi scenarios offer varying jackpot chances. If Hikari hits a jackpot, he gains unlimited cursed energy and automatic reverse cursed energy for 4 minutes and 11 seconds. The effects of the previous game carry over to the next. Odd-numbered jackpots provide better odds. Even-numbered jackpots provide faster spins, and there's a hidden probability for even better chances. The domain is complex, reflecting the intricacies of a pachinko game. Cursed Noises domain, Time Cell, Moon Palace. Time Cell Moon Palace. Cursed Noises domain is a lethal domain that enhances projection sorcery. Its sure hit effect forces the target to move according to the 24 frames per second rule of the technique, but at a cellular level. This causes small cuts and internal injuries, effectively immobilizing the victim. The precision of the 24 frame rule is heightened to the point of cellular manipulation. Kenjaku's domain, Womb Perfusion. Womb Perfusion. Kenjaku's domain is another barrier-less domain, but its specifics are largely unknown. It demonstrated the power to severely injure Yuki. The domain's abilities seem related to anti-gravity, though this is unconfirmed. It is incredibly refined, capable of easily dismantling simple domain. The effectiveness of barrier-less domains against anti-domain techniques is a subject of debate within the narrative, with Kenjaku's domain adding complexity to this discussion. Yozuru's domain, Threefold Affliction. Threefold Affliction. Yozuru's domain is a simple lethal domain. Its known effect is that it guarantees Yozuru's constructs will hit their target. The full extent of its abilities is not explored within the story.